The game of entrepreneurship is so ugly that if people actually knew how ugly was up front, very few would even do it. It's very ugly. It's very lonely. It's very frustrating. It exploits you at the highest level. You know, in the world of business, you don't just have one or two weaknesses. Imagine all of a sudden one day, 50 weaknesses are exposed, all at the same time. And everybody tells you, because it's you. Who wants that? No one wants that. And imagine a game where you always have to recreate yourself or else you lose. Like, let me put it to you this way. It's like working out, but you can't take a day off. You know how you work out, at least you got like a few days off to have your, regroup and all that stuff. For the first 2 to 5 years, if you look the other way just because you just made $1 million in a month and you start getting very cocky or arrogant, boom, you're wiped out. That's all it takes. It's a subtle look away to get knocked out. And so, a lot of these books, self-help books that you read and say, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do that. They don't touch on the ugly part of running a business. Now, set the ugly part aside. The one part that outweighs being willing to tolerate all this pain is the fact that choices matters to you. If you're driven by choices, if you're driven by control, if you're driven by, being able to choose the kind of a life you want to live, that reward is so much higher than the pain you're going to have to put up, that you're willing to put up with the pain because you want this. Because what's the flip side? Here's the flip side. My 3 kids go to the same private school together. It's very expensive. Okay, you live in a decent community. You have a house with elevators and privacy. You can have security. You can have nicer insurance, nicer protection, better advisors, better counselors, better money managers, better attorneys, better CPAs, better protection, all of that stuff. The choices, better places to go, people that you can associate with that are at your same level, if not higher than you, more things that you can have as choice. I'm not talking necessarily material things, choices. So if the choices and the control is that big of a motivation for you, you're going to be able to put up with the pain. But if the pain's too much for you, and this doesn't really matter, you'll let you get out.
So we think people are oversold right now on entrepreneurs because of social media.
But I tell you, we're oversold on everything. We're oversold on marriage. We're oversold on having kids. We're oversold on entrepreneurship. We are oversold on having kids. We are. I don't know how many 21-year-olds I hear saying, I feel like if I have a kid, my life will change. Yes, it will change. Maybe not for the best. Maybe you got to take your time. I feel like I love her, and the way I can show her I love her is by getting married. I don't know about that. I don't know if today's the time to get married at 22. I'm being very serious with you. I mean, look, you and I, imagine being 18 years old with access to Tinder. Imagine being, I don't know that. I don't know what it is to swipe left, swipe left, swipe left, swipe right. Oh, let's go, beer, great. You want to go hook up? Let's go in the back of the car. This has become very normal. So sex has become a very, we kissed. Oh, it's cool. Hey, 3 girls this week. How? Where did you meet them? Oh, Tinder, swipe left, swipe right. What are you talking about? So where the value of that used to be more, it's not the same value as it is today because it's easier access today than it was before. So you got to question marriage too early. You got to actually ask, why do you want to get married? Why do you want to have kids? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And the answer has to be very crystal clear. It's not just because, I have an answer on why I wanted to have kids. And I had to get very clear before I wanted to have kids. Most of us have kids because everybody's having kids. So it's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get married. You're supposed to do this. And I think the factor with entrepreneurship, don't let the lifestyle fool you. It takes a lot of work. And you have to ask yourself the question, are you really willing to go through it? If yes, great. Here's the one thing I do advise to Brian, to everybody. I think everybody ought to run a part-time business. Affiliate marketing, great. Sell products on the side, garage, whatever it is, get your real estate license, sell real estate on the side, get an insurance license, sell insurance on the side, and maintain your job. And put 10 or 15 hours into it. I think everybody ought to do it and can do it. Everybody. So, but the word of entrepreneur is multidimensional. At what level do you want to go? Do you want to go building a business doing $50 grand a year? Great, go do it. Everybody ought to do it. Do you want to build a business doing $1 million a year? Well, maybe not everybody can. You can build $1 million a year business. 10 million is the interesting number because very few get to the 10 million. 1 of 5, a lot of people get stuck to 1 of 5. 10 is, difficult. Then from 10, do you want to do $100 million? Do you want to get to $1 billion? I mean, the game changes at that point, right? But the more clear you are on your outcome of everything you do in life, kids, wife, business, career, friendship, spiritual, exercise, the more clear those outcomes are, the more fluid the action is going to be taken because you know why you're doing it. And so, yes, I think today social media fools the reality of being an entrepreneur.
Do you think you do the same by putting out the videos, or do you try to make it clear with people that, look, this is taking work?
Oh, I make it clear that it's work. I make it clear that it's pain. But I try to sell the reward, and I try to sell the idea of it has to matter to you. You know, like what you do here with creating content. Think about how many people started a podcast and they had potential, but they stopped.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about how much work it takes to run a podcast, okay? You have a wife, you have a kid, you have a business, you have all these other things. Think about the effort it takes. Think about the discipline. Think about the level of consistency to find a guest, to interview, to questions, to research, to content, to all this stuff takes a lot of effort, right? But you're doing it, it's very obvious, you're enjoying it, and it matters to you. And that's why you're effective, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You see some people that it doesn't matter to them, they're winging it. So that's the differentiator between an amateur and a pro. A pro's trying to figure out a way to be prolific because it matters to them. So the one thing with valuetainment that you get is you will hear me talk about clarity and it mattering to you so many times. Because if it does, the world better get out of your way because you're going to get what you want at whatever level you want.